Yes guys, and welcome to another video. Now, I don't know what's more of a surprise, the fact I'm making a video, despite the fact I specifically said at the end of the last video that I'm not going to be able to do one until next week, which really should be the case, because I have like a slither of time right now. We have like 30 minutes right now, the only 30 minutes I have until next week, and I could be chilling out, I could get myself a nap, but no, I thought, you know, I'll treat you guys to another video. That's what I'm going to do. So I don't know what's more of a surprise, the fact I'm doing a video, or the fact Sunderland look like they're on the verge of signing this beast here. Absolutely mental. So I did say at the back end of the last video, if you got to the end of it, by the way, my prediction video, congratulations to you, because that was the most rambling I've ever done in a video. I just kept on going on tangents and tangents to the point where I was actually forgetting what the whole point of the video was. And then to just fill in the silence or the thought process of what's going on, I go on another tangent, so apologies. But at the back end of that video, I did say that, of course, I am going up to Sunderland to watch the game this weekend. And for those of you who don't know, I am based in Blackpool, so my setup is here to create videos. So I can't just go to the match, create a video and give it straight to you, sadly. I'm not going to be back at my setup until Monday, so there won't be a preview or a review to that game, sadly. But if you guys do see me in and around Sunderland, don't hesitate to say hello. It's really nice to see you guys. But anyway, before we do get into it, hit the like button, because this is well and truly overtime. This is well and truly overtime. So if you don't hit the like button, you're an awful human being. I'm only joking, of course. Or am I? And subscribe if you are new. But let's get into it. So, Sunderland are on the brink of signing Nordi Mukiele from PSG, a right back who can also play centre-back. He's a big name, big talent, and I'm not going to say it again like many others. I've said this so many times over the last month or so with all these transfers. I'm not going to say that I followed his career path and I know him inside out. I don't. But I can remember about 4 or 5 years ago when he was sort of on the list of the sort of potential best defenders in the world. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like, he had the potential to become that kind of player, and he was getting linked to like Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Real Madrid at times, I believe. However, that didn't come to fruition, but he did join a little club called PSG eventually, so he did choose a big club. I did make a few notes on him in the really sort of quick bit of research I have done. So he is a 27-year-old French defender, right-footed, comfortable playing centre-back and right-back. He started off his career at Montpellier, where he played a good handful of seasons, got recognition, and then he earned a move to Leipzig, where he did play 3 seasons of Champions League football. So he is a high-caliber player. He's played at the highest level, and he got himself a DFB Pokal as well. He won that there. And then he often played in 3 at the back at Leipzig as well. He moved to PSG in 2022. First season, it was ruined by injuries, and of course, also they had the likes of Hakimi there, Hernandez and the like to play fullback. So we had a lot of incredibly tough competition anyway. But from the research I have done, I don't want to put it down because he is a real high-caliber signing. Over the last sort of 4 or 5 years, the maximum sort of appearances he's making is anywhere sort of between 20 and 25. And if you have a look at his injury record, I think it's 7 injuries in the last sort of 5 or 6 years, which I think, looking at it, doesn't sound awful because a handful of them were sort of like a week, but there was a good 3, maybe 4 of them that were sort of really long-term injuries. One of them might be a month or 2, and there was another that's like sort of 4 months or so. So he can be a little bit injury prone. I think he might have an issue with a hamstring or something like that. But in terms of getting someone to fill in when we need to, even though on paper, really, someone of this ilk should be starting for Sunderland in the Premier League, a team that have just come up. You wouldn't expect to have his name linked with us in the first place. You would expect him to be starting, but with that record, someone to just fill in when we need even a centre-back, because he can play. He's mostly known to be a right-back, but he can fill in a centre-back role. So very good, like Ronaldo. He's known as a left-back, but he can tuck in and do just as good a job as centre-back. He is very, very similar. So I'll be absolutely buzzing with that, and it's such a perfect signing as well for exactly what we need. You know, to cover the likes of Trey Hume if maybe he picks up a knock, or they want to shuffle and bring him into the centre defence. Be fantastic. So the rumoured fee from Keith Downey Sky Sports, it's around €10 million. And it's on a permanent as well, and that's it. Only 27. If we manage to stay clear of injuries, it could be a phenomenal signing, and we've been saying for weeks and weeks now, we keep on working and creating this really exciting midfield. We of course brought in Guiu as well as lone striker, but we haven't really done too much in defence. Of course, we brought in Ronaldo, And of course, we brought in the centre-back from Getafe as well. And I'm hearing rave reviews about him, by the way, from Spanish media, which I'm happy and buzzing about. But we've left, I don't want to say we've left it late to bring in defenders, because I can't imagine it being our fault. I can't imagine we just thought, oh shit, yeah, we've got a week to go until the first game of the season, we forgot to buy defenders. I think it is just a waiting game with some. And this is one of them. So I'd be very, very excited to see where this goes. But of course, let me know down below what you think about this potential signing. Are you worried about the injury record, or are you just purely excited because it is a big name? It is a big name. You know, you don't sign for PSG for no reason. I think he went Leverkusen last season for part of the season, and I think he made about 20 odd appearances there as well. Like I said, I've only been able to sit at the computer for sort of like 15, 20 minutes or so I haven't been able to go too in-depth, but I thought I'd at least bring it to you anyway. But yeah, so let me know down below what you think about that. A couple more things to bring to your attention. Of course, yesterday we did release the third kit. What do you think about that? The black kit, the all black kit. I really like it. On the surface, it looks a bit bland in terms of it just being black, but of course it's got the black sort of cat/panther logo as the badge, which I quite like. It's a nice touch. And it is all black, and I just think it looks smart as. I'm probably going to end up picking it up, but again, let me know what you think down below. Another couple of bits, of course, Trey Hume and Luke O'Nien have signed contract extensions. Now, we'll start with Trey Hume. Over the last week or so, there was rumours that Wolfsburg had sent in a £10 million bid for Trey Hume, which for me personally, that wouldn't even afford his pawn tash. It absolutely would not. It would not afford his right boot for me. I rate Trey Hume that highly. Not saying he's the best right back in the world, of course not. He has his moments where you might question his defensive ability, but in general, he's such a good all-round footballer. He's fantastic with his feet, and his judgment and timing of challenges is second to none. It really is up there with the best when it comes to his sliding challenges. Yeah, when he's up against someone who's, you know, absolutely rapid, he can struggle sometimes, but when you've got that sort of timing for a challenge, it doesn't really matter too much because he'll be able to nick in front of him with a sliding challenge anyway, and I'm sure we will see him struggle at times in the Premier League, but he's one for the future. And what a story for him, because he's signed until 2030, which is insane. Such a good bit of business that for me, but he comes from Linfield for what, like 400, 500k when we're in League One. He didn't really get too much time in League One. He didn't really look strong enough, and then he got his way into the team, and then he hasn't looked back. It's just such a good story, and that's exactly the same with Luke O'Nien, because I've always been a bit of a fanboy of Luke O'Nien, right? Since the beginning, even when he had that horror show on his first game against Charlton in midfield, and he was hooked off at half-time, and we thought he's never going to make it. But I keep seeing fans, even Sunderland fans, and it shocks me. I understand everyone has the sort of ifs and buts about Luke O'Nien. There's a question mark about how good he can be, and can he be a bit of a liability at times and be a bit daft? Of course he can, but that just makes him who he is. And I know that what his weaknesses are. Sometimes he can be daft with a yellow card or an unnecessary sending off or whatever, but you can't doubt what he has done and what he has achieved. And he is Sunderland through and through. And people only rate him because, oh yeah, he's an happy lad, he's good around the place. He's a frigging good footballer. He is. He's a good footballer, and people just hate to say it because some fans just hate the fact that he's got such a larger-than-life personality. They hate it. You show a bit of personality, you think, oh, he's a knobhead, he's a teacher's pet, he's this, he's that, he's the other. He's just a nice guy, do you know what I mean? But he's also a good footballer. It isn't just, and this is the point I always make to people who tell me that Luke O'Nien's shit. I always say, it isn't by chance that every single manager that he's worked under since League One has put him in their starting 11. Every single one without fail. That cannot happen by chance. You have to have something about you. To start off as a centre mid, it clearly wasn't going to work. Even the centre mids were in League One, and some of them were torrid. We're getting in front of him. We shoehorned him in at right back, see how we did. And he was probably one of the best right backs we'd had in a while. He was brilliant. He was solid enough. His tactical work, his positional work improved. Then we shuffled him into the middle. And he become a really good League One centre-back. And then he got into the Championship and people said, oh no, that's going to be one too much for him, that. And he was one of the best centre-backs in the league. Don't give a shit what anyone says. In terms of a ball-playing centre-back, he's a right-footed lad he works and he trained, and he is just the absolute definition of hard work, and practice makes perfect. Because then he's just as good with his left foot as he is with his right, and that wasn't always the case. It's practiced, and he said it in interviews. He practiced it. He's pinging diags left, right, and centre with his what should be his weaker left foot. but he's absolutely fantastic with it. And he ended up being such an asset, you know. And he's just a really, really good player. I'm not saying that he should be playing week in, week out in the Premier League, but my God, does the lad deserve a chance. And he deserves a hell of a lot more respect than he's getting from some corners of the Sunderland fan base. I get it, if you just... Everyone has a difference in opinion. If you don't like him, you don't like him. That's fair enough. If you don't rate him, you don't rate him. I just think he's just got such a scroll of evidence to suggest that he is a good player. And people are just like, nah, he smiles too much. He's a knobhead. Do you know what I mean? It's just... evidence is there, but either way, I'm going to have to go on an angry rant. I just love Luke O'Nien. Again, I know I'm not delusional. I'm not unaware of his weaknesses, but I just think people, once they make their mind up on someone, they don't turn the mind, or they don't have the open-mindedness to change the mind when the proof is in the pudding. It's right there. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to go off on a tangent again. I'm so sorry. But I am going to leave it there, guys. Apologies, it is massively rushed because this is overtime. I've got so much shit to do before I drive to Sunderland tomorrow morning, first thing. So anyway, let us know what you think about everything I've mentioned in the video. If you've enjoyed, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. But for now, away the lads! Keep the faith.